It's a short game about this girl goes to like visit her grandmother's house. Oh, have you guys played this? Oh no, you guys have played this? Oh, you guys are just smiling and nodding because the internet sucks. All right. So, that was perfect. You guys did great, and I blew it. I blew your cover. I blew your cover.
Save that.
Hey, welcome to the Good Games Podcast. My name is James.
I'm Leo.
I'm Justin.
What's going on, guys?
I'm depressed.
Why are you depressed?
Because I broke up with my girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm so lost.
I had this side piece.
Yeah.
I think I know what Leo's reference.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Her name was Emily.
You're right. Yeah.
And, you know, we really hit it off. And she was really a dumb bitch. And all of a sudden wanted to break it off, you know? So screw her.
Yeah, I had a similar. So if you haven't already figured it out, we're talking about the re-release, remake, remaster, I don't know what the fuck this is, of Emily is Away. This is not WarioWare Get It Together, even though we promised that last week. This is Emily is Away.
Well, to be fair, we never promise anything, right?
No, we just say, like, maybe the next show is...
Maybe.
Yeah.
Remember, we never promise you anything, folks.
You're right.
Yeah. Take our what we're gonna do with a grain of salt. Like,
all right.
Yeah. Maybe let's just not talk about what we're gonna do next time.
We promise you a very mediocre podcast of some sort of episode. Who knows?
True.
Okay, let's get right into it. So Emily is Away is like a relationship dating simulator, sort of, that is like heavily caked in nostalgia for like
early social media.
Or early social media. Yeah. Like circa, this game specifically is like circa, well, they give an exact year. It's like 2008. So like think of like early Facebook. That's what
roughly when like AOL AIM was like weeding out. MySpace was kind of like starting to not become the cool thing anymore.
The real hidden gem.
It was really like when MySpace and Facebook were kind of like parallel.
There was the transition, right? Yeah. It was like private networks on Facebook. But the real joy of this game to me was the early throwback to early YouTube.
Yes.
And like the old videos, like Chocolate Rain.
That was done really That was done really well because it was done really well because I was playing it on my couch with a controller, which I know is not how that game is designed to be played at all. And I was playing it in Steam with big picture mode on, and when I clicked the video link, it just started playing like a YouTube video, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, how did they... I was like, what? Because like I didn't realize that it had pulled up my browser and pulled up like this like weird like YouTube wrapper kind of, like you can tell they've embedded a YouTube video, but like everything else is
fake.
like is fake in a way that is designed to make it look like what YouTube looked like in 2008.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think probably like early on I got a good impression because like when you are first loading up the game, it's like installing and it gives you like this old like, you know, old Windows XP kind of like, you know, sound effects for installing and like the
and
fan.
You hear like the fan whirs up. I was like, and the hard drive I was like, oh yeah.
Like all that stuff was
computer.
good. And then like it's opening up its own browser for like part of the game. And I'm like, I love when games, you know, break that fourth wall. So I was really into that. However, I'm interested, James, in how it played out for you, because then once you start actually playing the game, yeah, like you said, it's a relationship game. It takes place in this, you know, Facebook like web app, but it's mostly just like text. You're chatting with people, and I think the original game was, you know, AIM, so it's mostly just chat windows. And in Facebook, you know, you just have a little pop up for each person, but then they make you type on your keyboard in order to get the text to flow.
Yeah.
Or there's a setting to have it go on its own, but it slows molasses.
Oh, I didn't realize.
How does that work? Do you just like tap your buttons
well,
on your controller?
I realized it was expecting me to press buttons on the. Oh, did I freeze? Well, I'm gonna keep talking. I'm gonna keep talking because eventually I'll come back. Okay. I realized it was expecting to map buttons on the keyboard. So I just mapped buttons on different axes of the joystick. So like 45 degrees, 145 degrees, 275 degrees. So I would just waggle the joystick. I just
That's way better than my experience because I fucking hated having to just like slam keys on my keyboard like some.
I imagine that loses its novelty after a few times.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm selecting the answer, just do the little typey for me. Just
and then
like
send,
fast.
Yeah.
Because I was literally I'm just literally playing and I had like my hand. I would click it and then I would just kind of just flop my hand all over like number pad.
Yeah,
it's cute.
Like every now and again, I'd pretend like I was typing and then it would.
No, it's stupid. I'm like, no, don't, just stop.
No, I just waggled the shit out of my controller stick, but I gave the game a pass because I was like, I know this is not what the game is intending. Like with me wiggling the shit out of a joystick.
I'm just surprised you can play with a controller.
Yeah, but that actually sounds better. Like I think I should have plugged in my controller and tried that. That's my biggest gripe about this damn game.
Yeah, just turn on the turbo.
That's basically what I did. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go back to that because I'll start talking about why that's a big issue when we keep talking about gripes.
Yeah. So, I have a lot of thoughts about this game. First of all, this is more of a personal thing with me because the character in the game, I mean, it's 2008. They literally give the date exactly. It's 2008, and this person is a senior in high school, starting their senior year. You're finishing your junior year. It takes you through the end of your junior year all the way through, like, the summer of your senior year. And I did not have a Facebook in high school. I barely had a Facebook in college because, like, I graduated high school 2010, so I'm pretty close to the age of the character.
But the date of the game, is it 2008 or was it 2012? Because I thought like in the beginning it's like a few years into social media where someone in high school who was like graduating in like 2010 or 2012, something like that. That might be someone who's more accustomed.
I'm pretty sure they gave the date as 2008 because like after every chapter it's like something 2008.
Oh no, I know what Leo's talking about. So what happened was it like started off at one point. Like in the future, essentially, the future.
Yeah, and they kind of go back,
and then it went backwards. It was like, oh yeah, do you remember? And then it went, it took you all the way back.
Yes, I forgot.
But the reason 2012 comes to mind, and maybe I don't know, but the YouTube links, like the videos, the music that they're linking to, I'm pretty sure is music from like 2012, but maybe that's just a screw up on their end. At least like the original YouTube upload dates were like.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that if you embed a YouTube video that just happens to be like past the yeah. Nothing you can really do about that.
Yeah. I guess it was a little bit. I wasn't sure if the songs were all from that year or not. That's the thing.
But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, like there's a lot of the game that I like fundamentally couldn't identify with, only because I didn't have Facebook in high school. I didn't really have social media in college. Even in college, I barely used it. So it is like the game is very specifically nostalgic for a thing that I didn't experience. Or experienced on the fringe, kind of like, because like I didn't really use Facebook until like after I graduated college. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you on the cusp of it getting popular, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like the social media aspect of the game is kind of the delivery mechanism for what is really at its roots just conversations between characters.
True.
That's really the game is just a romance game and
that's
multiple choices and talking to people. It has almost nothing to do with the actual social media, except when they reference like her profile or his profile or add a friend or whatever.
I would argue that
did stir up a couple like emotions of like
yes, it is very accurate. Speaking as someone who did have that early in late high school going into college, it was James, you just experienced what it was like it was a simulator really to like the early years of social media.
But what you missed.
I think the like Facebook theme setting, whatever, the YouTube stuff, all of the music is a like nostalgia delivery vehicle for like, hey, like even if you didn't specifically experience, because like I didn't really experience what this game is explicitly saying the main character did, it's just a delivery vehicle for like, hey, remember what you were doing in 2008 or 2009 or 2010 or whatever. In that way, yes, the game was successful. But there's a lot of this game I was just like, I don't like the one thing that it was just like nails on a chalkboard was like anytime my character would type something and would like repeat extra letters or like put an emoji or something, I'm like, I don't, that's not me. That is not me. I don't do that.
That's funny. I have a note on the things that I appreciated as far as attention to detail, and characters having typos in their messages was one of the things that I considered like that's like attention to detail. I don't know. I felt like that was a cute touch.
No, that's cool. I just mean when the main character, when you, the character, are typing and you're like, lol, like, so nice, NICEEEEE exclamation point, winky face. I'm like, that is, that is not, that is not my voice. I don't know what that
is. We were
not,
nerds. We were nerds. We typed proper.
Did you guys like actually name your characters after yourself?
Yeah, I named my character Ganondorf or something.
Yeah, I think there's like a layer of separation because in the game it was Leroy, not really me. So like that's how Leroy talks, you know.
Wait, was his last name Jenkins?
Oh, you know it.
Of course.
It's roughly that time, right?
Sure.
Around when WoW was about getting big and about.
Yeah.
So what did you guys think of like the actual story being told?
I mean, I was expecting more death.
What?
Yeah.
What? What?
Yeah, I was picturing like, like this is cool. Like everyone is all friendly with each other, and then you make the wrong choice, and then Emily is away like for the next several chapters, and everyone's trying to figure out why, and you find out she like committed suicide or was murdered by Evelyn, or like I thought it would be more like a dark. I took it a darker place for sure.
So what was your guys' story? Because I know this game has multiple paths and multiple endings.
Yeah.
Did you guys all date Emily?
Yeah, well, I dated Emily. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I figured it was the namesake. Evelyn came on strong, and she was a punk rocker, which I actually grew up that way. So I was like, been there, done that. Let me check out this Emily girl.
Yeah, Evelyn was like, let's like drink and party and sneak out late at night. I was like, that is so far removed from my experience of life. I don't.
Yeah, no thanks. I'll stay home and play video games. That sounds awesome.
Right? Yeah. And then Emily
was very appealing.
Emily was like, let's play Mario Kart. And I'm like, let's play Mario Kart.
Let's have a barbecue with hot dogs. Yeah, yes. And that is all me.
Yeah.
Just to put it out there, James had nothing but hot dogs in his fridge during college.
Yes, true.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
In terms of the story that I chose, I'm a great catch like in real life. Like I'm a fantastic guy for a relationship. So I played literally the maximum. Like she should have married me. It is without question. Right. I was supportive. I was trusting.
Right.
Let her do her friends were the most important thing. I also made my friend the most important thing, true to her.
Yeah.
Fucking, that's her laws that she goes by. I did that, and I was like, I blew her off and went with my friend Matt, and she respected that. And then, like, summer going into college, she's like, I'm done with you, or whatever. And my understanding is, because I looked it up after, that it's like a guaranteed fail the first time you play through.
Oh,
and that's bullshit.
Okay. I didn't know you could like get different endings multiple. Yeah, I mean, I had a pretty similar ending. Huh? I had a pretty similar ending as you. I had a pretty similar ending as you. It sounds like. Oh, okay. Hey, guy.
Hey, you're back.
Yeah. I had a pretty similar ending as you, Leo. And like, because like, yeah, the game is like constantly setting you up with like, oh, like Emily is spending a lot of time with this guy Jeff. Aren't you jealous? And like me, just like role playing myself, I'm like, I'm just not a like very jealous person. So I'm just like, no, that's cool. You can hang out with Jeff. Like, great, have fun. And the game's, but aren't you jealous? And I'm like, no.
I trust Emily. Like, I'm a mature, boyfriend.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the other part I didn't like is sometimes you're like forced. There was one point where like your friend Matt like gives you his password to log into his account and spy on their and I didn't want anything to do with that.
I was just like, just send me a screenshot. Like, just copy paste it. What are you doing?
I didn't even want a screenshot. I was like, I'm good. I don't want to do any of that.
No, the only options. No, I don't really care. It's there was a lot of like railroading you into like a certain situation that like I would just not put myself in that situation. Like,
right. But we got to introduce drama.
Right. Yeah.
See, that's like, I feel like that's the one thing the three of us like didn't really experience in real time was like the actual Facebook drama of like,
drama.
Once it was like done, you're like, all right, unfriend, goodbye.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like, so this game is not necessarily for like chill people. But if you like drama, you're gonna love this shit. The part that I struggled with was that railroading went to the ultimate degree when at the end of the game, despite every fantastic choice you made, like the game literally will not let you have like the good ending with your first choice of a partner. Then you have to play it a second time, and only then can you get the good ending with the opposite person.
Oh, so like if you chose Emily the first time, you can't have Emily the second time. You can only have Evelyn. Okay.
If you want to have a good ending with Emily, you have to try to get with Evelyn first, and then do everything you did probably during your first playthrough with Emily. You're on your second playthrough on that save file, and then suddenly, like her reactions just change. I think to like the same choices.
Okay.
You make her jealous.
Yeah, and then she throws herself at you. No, it's total bullshit, man. I didn't like that. But the biggest problem is I would love to play this game again. I would love to see all the endings. I want to see the ones where like in the very beginning you call her out about Jeff and then she just dumps you on the spot. Like I want to see all the drastic endings or like someone dies a weekend or whatever.
They're just supposed to see someone die.
I want to see death. But I cannot bring myself to play this game again because of all the bullshit, slow typing messages. There's no jumping around to decisions. Like
I'm curious to see what the first game was and the second game was because I know they're much shorter than this, which is Emily is Away with a Heart. This game
kind of long too.
I think this game was about 2 or 3 hours longer than it needed to be.
Yeah.
For me, at least.
All because it dragged it out.
Yeah. Like it kind of just kept playing the same beats over and over again. I felt like it was like, oh hey, it's like you're talking with Emily, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna send you a YouTube playlist. I'm like, okay, like we've done this twice already. Like the game just kind of kept playing the same beats over and over.
Just let me fast forward. Like I just want to fast forward, and they wouldn't let me do it.
I think the first game was about like 45 minutes, and the second game was about like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I'm like, yeah, that seems about the appropriate amount of time for a game like this.
Yeah, or at least like this developer needs to go and play 999 and go see the proper
a little more death, please, and murder.
No, yeah, that too. But no, like the where you start jumping around to different specific decisions and stuff, and just to see how it plays out the other way. Like I want that, but I don't want to play another 5-hour game or whatever. Like,
yeah.
Of just talking.
Right there with you.
So slow. Like the one thing that they could do to make me play this game again is let me just make a decision and then just instantly display the text. Like let me just tap through the text. Like
or make it a quick, just like
for the animation.
Like
like
make the clicky sound, but just make it go make it go on there like you type real fast.
Basic Final Fantasy, mechanics, slow, fast text animation. Like,
yes,
this is bullshit. I have to sit there and wait for the worst part is that like this says like, Emily is typing ... and they just literally have code that says wait 5 seconds.
Oh, I know they do. Yeah,
and display. Like, that's bullshit, man. Like, I can't stand that.
But though you have to admit, they're immersing you into the experience.
Yes. They are, and it's
that
great.
exists for a reason. Yeah.
The immersion and the simulation is fantastic. They did a fantastic job. But like, it's a novelty thing. And if you really want me to like replay the game and play different endings, like give me options to get rid of all that shit. That's kind of the point I'm making.
Yeah, that's fair. I totally agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anything else? It's basically all I had, I think.
I just find it weird that this is a game. Like, this is our nostalgia.
What caused you to pick? I'm just curious, Leo, because we'll pull the curtain back on the podcast real quick. This is a Leo selection. What
breaking the fourth wall?
What made you pick this game, Leo?
Well, I generally like games that look like this. Games that like what's the fucking other game? Her Story. And
loved Her Story. I loved Her Story.
Yeah, and I do like decision games like the 999 where you get to go back at the trees.
Deeply immersive games. Yeah.
I do like simulation games too. It's a lot of things going for it, and the reviews were like overwhelmingly positive on Steam. So it had a lot of good signs going for it, but it's all right.
Yeah, no, I think I enjoyed this, even though I didn't really identify with it. It was fine.
Tell me if I'm wrong though. If like halfway through characters started dying and you had to figure out, why is Emily away and people are dying? Oh no! And the whole game just like shifted.
Leo.
No, but if it starts shifting,
and then a mystery account starts texting you,
wouldn't that be so much better though? Seriously.
And then you were on board a sinking cruise ship, and you only had 9 hours to get out.
Oh man, that would be so good though.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I enjoyed it. It's fine.
It's a nice It's a nice little model. Not model, but novel is what I was going to
Yeah.
Like a nice little story novel thing that you kind of it's kind of your own little 2008 story you can build up.
If you have nostalgia for early Facebook, or if you enjoy dating games, then check out Emily is Away. With a heart. We're specifically, I guess we should have clarified up front which version, because there's 3 different games called Emily is Away.
I think so.
Oh, did I? Okay, good. All right. I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah, it's the less than
most recent one.
Less than 3 heart. The one released in 2021. Yes, this year.
Yeah.
And it looks like a Facebook icon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If speaking of Facebook, no, we don't really have a Facebook. Never mind. Fuck Facebook. Fuck
Take that, Zuckerberg.
We're on that next gen social media.
Yeah. We have a Twitter, I think. We tweet sometimes. Follow our podcast on it. It's on the screen right now, or it's in the comments. Or not the comments, but like the description. We have a Patreon. You can support this podcast on Patreon. Do it. We have a YouTube. We have other things.
Twitch.
We have a Twitch. We are. What are we on Twitch? Good Games Cast. Good Games something.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Podcast maybe. I don't know.
It's on the screen. We're terrible at this.
Something.
How are we like 80 fucking episodes into this podcast? We're so bad at it.
We still don't know our fucking links.
Just find the links. Just look for them. Just do it. All right. Our top 5 today, to go along with Emily is Away. Our top 5 today is top 5 short games. It turns out I really like short games. I really struggled with the 3D platformers last week. I love me some short games though.
Yeah, I was thinking about. I think a couple days ago, me and Justin were talking, and we were thinking through our top fives, and it's like a lot of short games or indie games, which we review a lot on here, and there's some of our favorites, so kind of works out nicely.
Yeah, man.
Now, real quick, what would you qualify as a short game?
Yeah.
Does it have to have pretty much primarily be like a story or some kind of gameplay that start to end only takes like 2 to 5 hours? Like, is that what we would say is
what's the range?
I don't know. I mean, I was pretty loose.
How do you define short?
I was pretty loose with my I mean, the longest game I have, let me think about this. Longest game I have is probably like around maybe 7 or 8 hours.
Okay.
I was like Emily is Away was too long for my list.
Yeah.
Just about.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it was too long for itself, but for me at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Whatever. When we get to my long game, you guys can decide if it's too long for this list.
Okay.
So the first one I came up with is our 2019 Game of the Year, Leo. I think this was just before Justin joined the podcast. Katana Zero.
Hey, that's on my list.
Hey, nice. What else you guys have?
Oh, Katana Zero.
Oh, fuck yeah. Good.
I put in Limbo.
Oh, yeah. I almost put on Limbo. That's a good one.
And just one that kind of coincides with that one, just because they're roughly the same, just they look different. Inside.
Oh yeah, Limbo, and Inside. We should probably explain what these are.
We're just saying names. We're not giving
Limbo, Inside, whatever.
So Limbo.
Yeah, go ahead, Justin.
Oh well, the best way I guess to describe Limbo, it's kind of like a side-scrolling kind of platformer but it's mostly like a game that kind of plays out as you're moving along. There's like some kind of back end story that you're just kind of playing through, and it is a puzzler. So there's like certain little puzzles you got to figure out. Both Inside and Limbo essentially follow the same thing. And I don't know how else to explain it. I mean, you just kind of platform a bit, and you're walking pretty much. You're scrolling in a linear direction sideways, and progressing this sort of like weird back end story. And really, it doesn't explain itself. There's no dialogue. There's nothing. You're just essentially just going through, and shit's happening in the background, or you have to start avoiding this thing that's coming after you, or people are trying to chase you, and it's like it almost gives you an opportunity to like interpret like what the story is in your own kind of way. Limbo's pretty cool because that almost like gives you like a kind of afterlife kind of feel when you get through that game. Like you're in some sort of like, I guess, as the name implies, you're in some sort of limbo. So it's like some kind of otherworldly afterlife thing. But Inside's just fucking weird.
I still don't know what happens in Inside. I don't know.
Especially the end. And I'm not going to spoil the end for anybody here if you haven't played Inside. But play Inside. It's actually I like the way the game looks. And the game is just like so interesting to just see what's going on. And the puzzles aren't too bad. But the ending of that game is just like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
yeah. That was a really good summary of those games. They're like highly stylized 2D puzzle platformers that like there's a lot of environmental storytelling, and there's just a lot of time for you to like sit and think about what's happening in the story. Anyway, it's good. Katana Zero, I mean, you can go listen to our episode on it in our Game of the Year discussion. Or no, I think we did a separate full episode on Katana Zero. I think it's another like highly stylized 2D game, but it's more of like a reflex. It's like a Twitch shooter slasher with like
Brawler.
These with like time slowing mechanics, so you can like slow down time.
What have I said before? If you have swords and you have temporal play, I'm gonna like that game.
And it's also got, just like Inside and Limbo, it's got a real crazy story. and it doesn't explicitly give you all the details. There's a lot of like inference you have to do. There's a lot of like sitting and thinking about what the game really wants you to understand. So yeah, Katana Zero, another one. I have probably the only one that's not going to cross over with any of you guys. I have What Remains of Edith Finch, which is like this girl who goes to visit her grandmother's house. So she's like remembering a lot of her childhood and like a lot of her family members who have like all died because like there's this curse on the family, and like everyone in this family believes so intensely in this curse that like everyone dies at a young age in this family. So you go through the house and you go through in everyone's rooms and you're kind of like reminiscing about all these family members. And anyway, it's a really interesting story about you see how all of these family members died, but there's an element of like unreliable narrator because it's kind of up to you, like, oh, is this curse real, or is like, are these family, like, I don't know. It's good. It's a good little short game. What Remains of Edith Finch.
I also mentioned this one briefly, and I think we've also talked about this one on a lot of mine. Like we've talked on the podcast, but Her Story.
Yeah, fuck yeah, great game.
Just great game.
No, we haven't done an episode on Her Story.
We definitely talked about it at some point.
We've talked about it. Yeah.
You know, maybe not done an episode, but it's come up on the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to explain it. It's kind of a mystery solving. I don't know, point and click thing.
It's got a similar thing as Emily is Away, where instead of emulating like Facebook, it's emulating like anytime you've like gone to like YouTube and like scrubbed through a video, like right. Oh, let me try to find this point in the video or this point in the video, but every single clip is like you're listening to like a confession of a murderer. So you're trying to
you're like a detective.
And you're trying to piece together important clues from all these clips of video, but the I can't think of the term I want to use, but the crux of the game, I don't know, is that the hard drive
French word.
I'm sure I'll think of the word I want to use in a second.
Not denouement.
No, it's the. I don't know. The central mechanic of the game is that like the hard drive is corrupted. So like there's no way to have a complete listing of all the video files. You have to search for keywords that occur in the interviewee because it's all text transcribed. So you have to search for like keywords that show up in a video. So like if you're like, oh, she got murdered with a knife, and then you search knife and you get all these new results, you're like, ooh, I'm onto something, like that sort of thing.
Yeah, you're trying to figure out the clues. So like right from the very get-go, it's like Emily, but there's death. So this is great.
So like better. Emily, but death.
Yeah. Let's see, what else did I have? Oh, I have one. I think James would like this one. You may even have this on your list, James. I don't know. But this is Stanley.
Yes, that was the next
Stanley's
one.
Parable.
Yeah.
I love that game. That was fun. So Stanley Parable, I believe it was built in the Source engine.
Yeah, I think so. The original one was anyway.
Yeah, the original one.
Oh, there's already been more than one.
I think didn't they do like a remaster or something? Or
well, the one that we're talking about right now is actually a remaster of the original Stanley Parable, and now they're re-releasing it again. Anyway, whatever. Yes, yeah, the original one was in Source.
Yeah, and pretty much it's just kind of a game. It's just you're walking around, you're in an office building, you're trying to figure out what's going on, and some guy's narrating you the entire time, and he tells you where to go or things to do in this game. And if you follow them, then you kind of play through the whole game, and you have a weird little ending, and then the game almost like loops again. And if you start doing things off track of the narration, you get like weird different stories with it, and stranger things start to happen. Or sometimes you can just kind of explore around and find random stuff, or fall down a random hole or something like that, where you just find a completely different story going on, and the narrator starts freaking out on you. And so it's a fun game because it's funny, it's interesting, it's kind of a little bit
very
like
very
mindfucky.
Portal-esque.
Yeah,
What is another short
it's almost
game
like Inception a little bit.
Okay, I was gonna say Portal is on my list, and that's probably the longest game on my list. Portal comes in about 7 or 8 hours.
Me and Leo were talking about that because that's one I saw come up, and I was like, Portal. I was like, is Portal a short game though? If you like suck at trying to figure out the puzzles,
it's not short enough for my list, but like I get it if someone wants to consider that a short game.
Yeah, for me, I think like anything I can complete in one sitting, and I do remember finishing the original Portal in one sitting. I mean, it was a long sitting, but like you get so immersed in that game, and you're just like, oh, I just want to keep going. I want to keep going. I want to keep going. And then, yeah, you can definitely finish that game in one sitting.
Yeah, at least 1 or 2 sittings. Portal 2, probably not. Portal 2 tends to be stretched out. That's at least like 10 to 12 hours. If you're
Portal 2 is like 20 or 30 hours, but that's a long game. Do you remember? That's a long-ass game. Yeah. Portal 2 is fucking long.
Is it? Oh, that's right, because there's all those levels, right. You know what? Yeah, I take that back. It is more like a 20 or 30-hour game. Yeah. I mean, I'd be okay having Portal on there. I think that's fine.
All right, good, because it's on my
short
list.
enough.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, my number one game, Justin, is probably on your list. Another game I finished in one sitting, Undertale.
See, that was another one I wasn't sure about because I wasn't sure if Undertale would be considered a short game, but I mean, yeah, again, I guess you can complete it in 1 to 2 sittings. So
yeah, that was another one where I started playing it at night, and then like I was just like, oh man, this game's crazy. What is going on? And then like 1 a.m, I finished my neutral playthrough, the whatever you call your first playthrough of Undertale. I know there's like a community word for it, but I forget what it is.
The thing is, I couldn't come up with a fifth one actually, so I'll throw it. If Undertale's going to be considered, that one's definitely on my list.
I think Undertale's shorter than Portal, though, right?
I finished Portal, but I didn't finish Undertale. But I'm not sure if that's a different problem.
Incompetence.
I think Portal is all. I think Portal is how fast can you figure out the puzzles, and Undertale is how much do you want to explore the world. And if you get bogged down in either of those, then those games become longer.
Yeah, maybe so.
One last one I had on mine was I really liked the Grow Home, Grow Up series.
Oh, okay, nice.
I don't know if you guys ever played those.
I didn't play those.
No,
they're very nice. Very, very just kind of. It's essentially 3D platforming with sort of like low gravity physics, and it's just like a fun little game to play, and it doesn't take long to get through. I that one I did in one sitting. That only took like maybe 2 to 3 hours to finish. But they're fun. It's just like a fun little 3D platformer, and you're just going towards a goal. And you got one goal, and the whole point is to sort of just climb up to a certain point using like this plant that you discovered or whatever, and you just keep going up and up, and little changes happen here and there. But it's just like a really nice game.
And sometimes you just got to open it.
He wants the ice.
Yeah, he's got to open it.
He wants ice. That's what.
So, is there anything else that needs to be on our short games list?
That's all I had. Her story and and Katana Zero.
So, I think we need to make the decision: do we allow Undertale and Portal? I'm fine either way because those are definitely on the long end.
Well, how many do we have? How many do we have, including Undertale and Portal?
I had 5. You had Her Story. Justin had Grow Home. Was there anything else?
Limbo, Inside, Stanley Parable.
Oh, Limbo and Inside. So we have 8 in total.
I mean, I feel like Limbo and Inside can almost like live together, but I mean, we could keep them separate.
They're almost.
Because they're roughly
I know they're not, but same developer. You could same type of game. You could probably pick one. I don't know which one you would want to pick.
Probably Inside. Inside's like the better Limbo.
So we have 7 games, and if we kick off Portal and Undertale, then we have exactly 5.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like every other game is like a certain class of short game, whereas Portal and Undertale are relatively short games to like the larger field. when you compare them against the rest of the top 5, they're pretty lengthy.
They're on the long end of short. Yeah, they're definitely on the long end of short. All right, so that leaves us with Katana Zero, What Remains of Edith Finch, Stanley Parable, Grow Up, Grow Home, and Her Story and Inside. So that's 6.
Oh yeah, I wasn't counting the Fitch one, whatever that was.
What Remains of Edith Finch? It's fantastic.
Versus
that's fine. I don't know if I feel strong enough to fight for it. I mean, it's a fantastic game.
Or the green thing that.
See, I haven't played Grow Up, Grow Home.
I haven't played either of those. That's the only reason I'm looking at those.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we'll include Grow Up, Grow Home. Go check out Edith Finch. Honorable mention.
Yeah.
All right. So, Grow Up, Grow Home, Katana Zero, Stanley Parable, Her Story, and Inside. Right. What's the order?
Well, Grow Up, Grow Home will probably be number 5 because that's probably the
I think that's fair. Number 4, Inside.
Ooh,
I don't know. I would put Inside a little bit higher than that.
I would put Inside.
I would compete against Stanley Parable for me.
I'd put Inside higher than Her Story. And
really?
I was thinking Her Story is probably number 4. Yeah, because I can see that not appealing to a lot of people.
Agree,
but it's still a very kind of cool thing to play.
Yeah, very strangely, my order ranks by the amount of death, so Her Story was a little higher up.
What is with you and death, man?
At the top. I like death in my games, man. Like, it's not a good game if people aren't dying.
So that leaves us with Inside, Stanley, and what else?
A Katana.
I had it a second ago.
Katana Zero. Katana Zero.
I was just talking about the most deaths. Yeah.
Oof. Wow.
Number 3.
I would put Katana Zero, I think.
No. Well, that's fine. My Katana Zero is at my number 1 spot. So, and granted, Her Story was my number 2 spot because I only had those 2. So it's fair if you guys move that one.
I don't know.
Katana Zero number 2, then maybe, and then
I would say Stanley Parable 3.
The Stanley Parable's number 1. That game's amazing.
That was all right.
Yeah, this is hard.
See, the problem is, I think Justin and I have like an inverse order that then yours is all death. Ours is
it's very little
ours is like
the Stanley Parable.
Like ours is more like
comedy,
fun stories.
Yeah,
haha funny ones.
All right. They're all. I definitely think Stanley Parable is in the top 2 or 3 for sure. But so however this order is, I think it's fine. Once you get to the top 3, I feel like these are all really, really good short games.
Then for me, number 3 is Katana Zero, which is also a funny game. Like, there's definitely humor in Katana Zero.
Yeah.
The fucking Pikachu cosplayer bit at the hotel is fucking amazing.
Oh yeah. There's some jokes.
Okay, so then is number 2 Inside and number 1 Stanley?
I guess so.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Stanley's quite good.
Your top 5 short games: Grow Up, Grow Home, Her Story, Katana Zero, Inside, and the number 1 short game, the Stanley Parable. Fucking love that game. Although I think you could probably argue the Stanley Parable is also not for like that humor doesn't really land if you had like I showed the Stanley Parable to someone who's more of like a casual gamer, because there's a lot of like video game jokes in the Stanley Parable, and those don't land. Those don't really land if somebody's just like, oh, hey, I don't understand why, like, why do I have to play the game again? Like, what? I don't get it. Like, why did I go back here? Like, yeah, there's a lot of like, I don't know, whatever.
I would say, like, though we have our list, I would say Stanley Parable and Inside are kind of like they're switchy.
They fill a similar spot, right?
Yeah.
They satisfy two different. I don't know.
I don't know if they fill a similar spot, but
they satisfy two different like kind of feelings.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I guess.
Inside is more like creepy body horror, existential dread.
It's creepy, artistic.
Yes.
Kind of like makes you kind of think, and it's like a puzzle game. Whereas Stanley Parable is more of just like kind of like a story, like a I don't know how you would say like a.
See,
like a
I was actually thinking of
a story tree or something.
I was actually thinking of Limbo instead of Inside, and thinking that was closer to Stanley Parable, but yeah.
Oh, I think Limbo's even less like Stanley. I think of Stanley.
It's like, how do you like figuring out what the hell is going on? That kind of feeling.
Okay, I could see that.
Similar
I guess.
To me.
I feel like Stanley Parable is like a deconstruction of video games and
games
like examining the relationship between like video game and player, or like video game player and narrator, because like those three relationships are like constantly pushing and pulling against each other in Stanley Parable in really interesting ways.
I guess you could say it's very fourth wall breaking.
That's oh, absolutely.
Yes. That's true. Yeah. Which I do like that.
But the greatest thing is the narration. I love the narrator of that game. I love his voice.
Yes. Yeah. He's very good. Okay, anyway, you guys want to endorse stuff?
Sure.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I got a quick one. I'll just go first. I'm going to endorse what we were supposed to do an episode on today. I'm going to endorse WarioWare Get It Together. It is good. It is fun. It is also short. You could say it's a short game. I don't know that it would make my top 5 short games list, but it's good, fun, short. I will endorse specifically playing it co-op. I don't know. Like, I mean, all the WarioWare games are probably more fun to play with a friend, but this one specifically, I think, works best co-op because you can play simultaneously. Like, you and another player can both play at the same time, as opposed to like older WarioWare games, like Smooth Moves for the Wii, where you had to like pass the controller around. You can actually both play simultaneously. It is good. It is fun. WarioWare Get It Together for the Switch. It's good.
Yeah, that's a good game.
It's a good.
It's a good game. You want to have a good time? The weird 90s.
An angry Italian guy who lives in an apartment above
you sounded like you sounded like Gilbert Gottfried. You sounded like the parrot from A Lion King.
Yeah. Do you want to have a good time? I can't do. Thank you.
There you go. Nailed it. Your kid knows what's up.
Nice. Okay. So I think last episode I endorsed the Wheel of Time trailer.
Yeah.
Which naturally leads me to reading the Wheel of Time, which I definitely endorse reading, even though it's a very large book series. It is my favorite book series of all time, and I don't blame you if you don't read them all, but like, you should definitely check out at least the first 4-ish books. They're really good. But that always leads me, every time I start reading the Wheel of Time, it leads me back to a game that I've been playing for. I did the math today because characters in the game stay around like once you get them to a certain level and they age at a certain rate. I have some characters that are like 500 something years old in the game, and that calculates to almost 20 years. We're looking at 17 or 18 years that I've been playing this game on and off. And if you like video games and you like reading, this is the game for you. It's basically all text, and it's called The Wheel of Time.
Emily is away. Oh, no. Okay.
Mud. Yeah. Well, yeah, sure. If you like Emily's Away, but you want more death, play The Wheel of Time multi-user dungeon. Muds
I never know you played this.
Yeah. I've been playing since literally since high school, like freshman year of high school.
Okay.
But it's something I go back to like probably every 2-3 years. It's all text. There's like probably roughly 300 to 500 players, like max, that play this game. It's very old school. Like, think of like just Windows 98, different colored text on the screen. And you see like room descriptions and characters doing things by just like, this character does that. Like a little piece of text pops up on the screen. But it's very fast paced, and it kind of was. I think they're kind of the predecessors to MMORPGs back in the day, MUDs, in like the M95, Windows 95, and like MS DOS era. I think this was like where you found like a bunch of nerds all connecting into one server, and there's role play emote elements, and there's PvP elements, and then there's like boss killing like PvE elements. It's basically an MMO, but it's just all text and descriptions and like actions that you type out versus an actual graphical game. So it's not for everybody, but it is fantastic if you want to immerse yourself into the time world. So it's called the What Mud.
What Mud?
Hey, Leo, that reminds me. I still have your book.
Oh, okay, cool.
Remember you loaned me your book all that long ago?
I mean, I've actually bought like at least 4 copies of that book over the years. I think Matt Wong has another copy of mine. He just bought his own after starting it.
Well, must be good.
It's very good.
I'll just wait for the TV series.
Check out the show.
Yeah. I'm just gonna wait for the TV.
Did you watch the trailer?
I didn't.
Your best friends.
I know. I suck. All right.
You should definitely watch the trailer.
As soon as we're done with this podcast, I'm gonna go watch the trailer.
We're all watching it. We're all watching it when we're done with this podcast. I will stream it, and I will stare at you to see your reactions.
All right.
No, the trailer is a teaser trailer, so it's very like it's. I think the best advice or the best review I've gotten from people is like, oh, it looks really interesting, but like it's also just like a fantasy show. Like they don't really go in depth about like why this world is specifically interesting. But of course, I'll be there to give you all of the dialogue, like all the narrative dialogue, to tell you why it's so good.
I want a James reaction video. I want his face in the bottom corner.
We're gonna do this. We're gonna all react to it live. You saw
the trailer or the first episode?
The trailer. No, the trailer.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Maybe that'll be the bonus content at the end of this episode. Yeah. You can watch us all react. Watch Good Games Podcast reacts to Wheel of Time. That'll be the thumbnail.
See, that would have been perfect for the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer.
The thumbnail always has to be you going like, what? Like, or whatever. With
like exclamation points next to you.
Look. Lots of arrows, just pointing arrows. Yeah.
Wheel of Time.
And you have to have a white border around you.
Yeah.
We know how this YouTube stuff works, people.
Yeah. We know how it works. We're just too lazy to do any of it.
Right. Well, we just did enough faces right there that if Matt just like screen grabs frame by frame, we could use that for different thumbnails.
So I have 2 recommendations.
Oh,
and I actually wrote them down this time. I remember.
There you go.
Look at you, professional.
More music from YouTube. I discovered an artist called Sam Dillard, and he makes like orchestral remixes of video games.
Oh, fuck yeah!
And it's actually really good. And he does some Zelda ones, but he also has a Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross. So it's really good. You should go check him out. It's very good orchestral music. It feels very like almost like if you were watching like a movie version of the game. This is like the kind of music that would play. Yeah.
Okay, I'm
like
interested.
That's what he goes for almost. The Zelda ones are really good. There's a lot of he does like almost like it's not even based on certain songs. It's more of like an interpretation of like certain events. So he does like like one song he has is like the War of Hyrule. So it's essentially like he creates this whole orchestral piece around like how Hyrule had this whole like back, war in its past and stuff like that. So it's pretty good. I like it. My second recommendation is Italian markets. I don't know if you guys ever been to an Italian market.
Market Italian.
Yeah. So there's in St. Pete here, there's a market called I think it's pronounced Marazzo's, and it's just this kind of like warehouse of Italian. It's just like it's a big market. It's a big grocery store. So it has like an entire deli. You can get all sorts of like Italian pre-made stuff. You can get pre-made pastas. You can get ravioli stuffed with whatever you want, and it's all freshly made. They have an entire market of things that you don't normally find in regular grocery stores, of like different oils, different like candies, different things from around the world. You can get like pizza dough. Like if you want like fresh pizza dough, that you can buy like a frozen thing of pizza dough, thaw it out when you get home, and it rises and everything. You make pizza out of it. We did that with my in-laws, and it came out really good. But it's cool, and they had like an entire wine cellar. You heard like a bunch of wines you never heard of. They had an entire like cheese counter with like all sorts of different cheeses that you never heard of. It's just like, it was just really cool. And they had like a little espresso station. So if you want to get some nice like pressed espresso over there, so I recommend that. If you can find like a popular Italian market around you, go check it out, because there's a lot of cool stuff there.
I'd like to piggyback on that and just say any kind of ethnic market, Asian market.
Oh yeah, we go to our local
markets.
Japanese market.
Let's just, let's change it up and say just go to a foreign market.
Yeah. Our local Japanese market is fucking wild.
To get some authentic ingredients and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm gonna piggyback off your other endorsement. I'm gonna piggyback off your other endorsement, Justin. Your endorsement of Zelda music just made me think. There's this video it's been on YouTube for a while, but I guess it's just been buried. And then recently, the algorithm just uncovered this video. It's called the soundtrack to Ocarina of Time, but it's a prog rock album. So if you like the music of Zelda, specifically Ocarina of Time, and you like 80s prog rock, well, there's even like newer prog. So like Rush, Yes, ELO, like Coheed, like that sort of prog rock. It is Ocarina of Time's music reinterpreted as progressive rock, and it is fucking amazing, because that is my preferred musical taste. So
all right, I'm gonna piggyback on your piggyback endorsement, and also add, if you're into like sort of genre shifts of video game music, I've been listening just in general for the last like 3 or 4 years to a lot of lo-fi genre, just really good for like study music and like programming and just chilling. And there's a specific playlist on Spotify called Final Fantasy and Chill, and it is lo-fi remixes of mostly Final Fantasy VII soundtrack, but some other Final Fantasies thrown in there as well. All right.
Yeah, I think that's done by that might be the same one. It's done by Game Chops, right? Because there's a Zelda and Chill,
yes.
I think.
Yes, Game Chops. That's the one.
Yeah, they do a lot of the video game and
Chill. A lot of video game music for you.
It's very but I agree with Leo. It's very cool to like how it's more of like just like a kind of chilled out, kind of beady hip hop-ish.
Right. If you're gonna listen to some nice chill music, might as well make it remind you of like, oh, is that this one song?
Like if you don't want to hear a boss battle and get anxiety while you're trying to work, then stuff.
Yeah. All
right. Our next episode. Hey, we make no promises here. Our next episode is scheduled to be. I'm excited personally for this one. This is my front runner for Game of the Year right now. I mean, I don't know if that's going to change with Metroid and Mario Party and Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl and a couple of the big end of the year titles coming up. But Trials of Fire has been my Game of the Year so far, and I'm very excited to talk about that game. So yeah, maybe that'll be our next episode. Who knows? Stay tuned and find out.
Very strong, maybe.
Yeah. Anything else?
Strong.
It's a very strong maybe. Yeah. Anything else?
I think that's a wrap.
Cool. All right.
Go watch some real-time trailers.
Stick around for our reaction to Wheel of Time. For the Good Games Podcast, I'm James.
I'm Leo.
I'm Justin.
We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
See ya.
Bye, everybody. All right, go ahead, Leo. You're good.
Do it.
All right. And here we
Go.
Be strong. The wheel of time turns, and ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend. The power inside you. All over the world, there are different names for it. But it's one thing. One power. And women who can touch it. We protect the world.
No matter what happens, what pain we face, what heartbreak, the wheel keeps turning. The Dark One is coming for your friends.
The last battle is coming. The only thing that matters is what you do. Whatever happens now, there's no turning back.
The wheel. Or I was getting a lot of like Avengers. Like the first chord is definitely like the Avengers theme song. Dun, 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 yeah. Dun,
What'd you think, Ethan?
dun.
I got the ice gonna eat the ice.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Dang,
just
yeah,
as
that's
good as
what I
eating
thought.
ice.
I
That's
can
what I
tell
heard.
the
Right.
finish.
I mean, he's
So,
saying it's like
I
eating ice.
know
He's like, it's like he's gonna eat a Song of Ice and Fire. Like this is better than.
Be careful with the light.
Yeah, eat it, Ice and Fire. You suck.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is
Oh,
a very
that's-
phallic tower on a very
Oh yeah, there's definitely,
phallic island.
there's definitely D&D
It's
in
great.
there.
Rosamund Pike, just won an Oscar or something for her Netflix movie
Good to eat
where
it.
she was that crazy chick.
Mm.
She's a fantastic actor, and yeah, it was. I think actually this other lady here who's like doing her healing. This lady is like some award-winning actress as well. So the Aes Sedai in this, she mentions like the women who hold the power or whatever.
Yeah,
it's an interesting fantasy world because it's matriarchal society, which is a little different than most like traditional fantasy like Tolkien and stuff is like all dudes. All the women literally hold the power in this world because the magic can be used by men or women, depending on if you're born with the ability. But the male side is corrupted, and every male magic user who uses magic will go insane. And so then the women are literally, they formed like groups around their training, and there's one shot here where they're all in like the tower and they're all like wearing different color outfits, like the red Aes Sedai. Like their one job is to find men who come out as like channelers, magic users, and like kill them or cut them off from the ability to do magic before they destroy the world because they all go insane with like magic. So, and then it just so happens that Moraine, the main character in blue, is searching for a prophesized male channeler who is supposed to save the world.
The one?
The one, basically.
The one.
Right. So it's pretty interesting. It's like it's a world where magic is can make you go insane is definitely interesting.
Interesting.
It's a drug.
You got your red mages, got your blue mages.
Yeah, I got your green mages. They're like battle focused. Gray, white, and brown. Yellow are the healers. That's basically Harry Potter in the tower, and then the Matrix with the one, and that's good.
It looks good. I like the graphics. The graphics look very good.
Yeah. Very realistic graphics.
Yeah, pretty realistic. Yeah, it's if it goes up its own ass just like any other.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
All right, Ethan, what do you got to say for us today, man? You weren't very talkative the other night. Hey. You actually said hey this time, huh?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, after this. It's the train on it.
Sure, there's a train on it. He wants a train to be in it.
So it would be better. Like, your thing is like it needs more death. Ethan's thing is like it needs more trains.
Needs a bit more train. Or ice.
It needs an icy train.
Or Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol.
Well, that's the other interesting part of it too. Is the Wheel of Time is basically like time is always like it's like it's not a line. It's circular. So it has the whole like concepts of like in Hinduism when you reincarnation, everything like that. But the same thing goes into play with like technology. Like in these books, it used to be like in the past we had flying planes and buildings full of like electricity or whatever. But now there's just like horses and swords and shit. So it's like it's post-apocalyptic technically.
Right. Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah,
November 19th.
Cool.
Check it out.
Yeah, I'll be down to watch it.
Coming soon.
19th. 17th. 19th.
I'll talk.
19th.
I know. Child.
I'll talk.
I'll talk. He'll talk.
Justin, go.
He'll talk.
Okay. Goodbye, stream. That's a reaction.
Goodbye. What a reaction.